You ever seen someone win so hard the whole town had to pretend they didn't try to bury her first? I mean, not just win a game or an argument. I'm talking crack the foundation, rip the curtains back, watch your bullies beg for mercy type win. Yeah, that happened. And it started with a quiet girl named Naomi Carter, who didn't say much when she transferred to Brookridge High. She just showed up, kept her hoodie up, called her dad sir, and didn't look like she was trying to impress anybody. But that's what made them mad, because she did impress everybody, without even trying. See, Naomi made the varsity cheer team her second month at school, not because she kissed up to anyone or came from the right family, but because her form was flawless. Every jump, every landing, tight as a drum. The coach couldn't ignore it, even if the rest of the squad clearly wanted her gone. Thing is, Naomi was the only black girl to ever make it on that team in, like, a decade. And in a school full of generational legacies, country club handshakes, and daughters of, "Don't you know who my daddy is?" That kind of excellence didn't make people clap. It made them whisper. And those whispers? They grew teeth real fast. At first, it was little things. A misplaced water bottle, weird looks in the hallway, comments like, "Real progressive, huh?" Tossed around just loud enough to sting but soft enough to deny. The worst came from three golden boys, Trent, Mason, and Eli, football royalty, sons of judges, surgeons, and car dealership moguls. Guys who thought the school existed to orbit around their sneakers. They weren't worried about Naomi. Not really. Not yet. They'd made other girls quit before. A few rumors here, a joke there, maybe a shove in the hallway or a nasty post online. They figured she'd fold like the rest. But what they didn't know was who her daddy was. Commander Ellis Carter, 22 years Navy SEAL, 4 tours, and the kind of man who could disassemble your ego with a single look over dinner. He didn't just raise Naomi, he trained her. And the day she came home with her name circled in red on Instagram and a sticky note in her locker that said, "Hope you're not scared of heights," he didn't yell. He poured 2 cups of tea, slid a legal pad across the kitchen table and said, "Let's begin your training. Not for cheer, but for war." Now don't get it twisted. He wasn't teaching her to fight with fists. He taught her discipline, patience, tactical thinking. "They want you to lash out," he said, "because then you're the problem. So we wait, we gather, and when they slip, we don't miss." So Naomi started watching, logging everything, every prank, every snide remark, every accidental trip in the cafeteria. She wrote it down, time, place, who was there. She became her own private investigator, but she didn't stop at defense. She started mapping their patterns, who they texted, where they snuck off to, what they hid in their lockers. And that's where things got interesting. One Thursday, Naomi spotted Mason slipping something into a freshman's hoodie behind the gym. A quiet handshake, a fast exchange. Her phone was already recording. 2 days later, she watched Eli leave practice early to meet someone by the vending machines, exchanging a small envelope with shaking hands. Her dad nodded, watching her notes pile up. "Now we find the weak link," he said. That weak link turned out to be Eli, the third wheel, always nodding along, never leading, and scared of his own shadow. When Mason and Trent shoved Naomi into a muddy puddle behind the bleachers during homecoming, tore her uniform, laughed like hyenas, Eli just stood there, pale and silent. That night, Naomi didn't cry. She didn't scream. She sat in the car for 20 minutes, then walked in the house, dropped her muddy cheer skirt on the floor, and said, "They put their hands on me. Teach me how to end it." And her dad? He didn't say a word, just nodded, walked to the basement, and turned on the light. The next few weeks were a chess match. Naomi followed Mason after school, caught him slipping pills into his gym bag, anxiety meds, expired, prescription didn't match his name. She printed screenshots, time-stamped her videos, cataloged every detail. When the evidence was airtight, she and her dad sent an anonymous email to the school board, with CCs to the local newspaper, police department, and Board of Education. 2 days later, boom, Mason suspended, investigation pending, drug violation under review. The cheer squad was rattled, the football team was panicking. And Naomi? She kept quiet, sipping her tea in the cafeteria like nothing happened. But the storm was only just beginning. Eli cracked next. He showed up outside her English class, pale as paper, whispering, I didn't know it'd go this far. Naomi didn't even look up. You held the camera while they pushed me. He nodded. I know, but I think Trent's planning something worse. That night, her dad circled his name on their corkboard. He's the alpha. Take him out, the rest crumble. And crumble, he did. See, Trent thought he was invincible, king of the hallway, heir to a construction empire. He didn't see the trap Naomi laid for him, until it was too late. He tried to corner her outside her house, him, Eli, and Mason, fresh off his suspension and angry. But Naomi was ready. She led them toward the neighbor's ring camera, baited them with silence, waited for Trent to pull the knife, and when he lunged, she moved, quick, sharp, just like training. Disarmed him, dropped him with a knee to the ribs. Mason slipped on the grass trying to help. Eli froze. By the time Officer Harper pulled up, Naomi was standing, calm, hands raised. The knife was on the ground. The bruises told the rest of the story. He attacked me. Check the camera, she said, steady as steel. And guess what? The whole thing was recorded. By morning, every local news outlet was airing the footage. Black teen fends off attack in suburban ambush. Cheerleader exposes racist bullies in viral video. Systemic failure at Brookridge High under fire. The district scrambled. Principal fired. Coach resigned. New bias training policies announced. Cameras installed. Bullying policy rewritten. And the town? The town had to sit with the truth. That they let it happen, looked the other way, and it took one quiet girl to force their hand. But the best part? Naomi didn't become bitter. She didn't gloat. She stood taller, not because the fear was gone, but because she'd walked through it and came out the other side holding the receipts. Her last day at Brookridge, she wore her cheer uniform one final time, black and gold, crisp and clean. She walked past the football table, past Eli who couldn't meet her eyes, past the new principal who now made eye contact when she passed, and she smiled. Not a grin, not a smirk, just a quiet, steady smile, the kind that says, "You'll remember me long after I'm gone." And she was right. Now here's the thing. Some folks said she went too far. Others said it wasn't far enough. But one thing's for sure. Naomi Carter made sure the next girl wouldn't have to fight alone. So let me ask you something. In her shoes, what would you have done? Would you have stayed quiet or fought back with truth? Drop your thoughts below. Is this justice or revenge? Let's talk about it.